All right, we're live. Um, okay, so we didn't have a real agenda for this meeting. I know Rebecca wanted to get together. I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks starting Monday, and she's getting ready to leave first. So she wanted to kind of get together and touch base before all that happened. So, did you have something specific you wanted to bring up, Rebecca?
No, not really. I do have recordings from previous planning meetings. If you want those to go up on the wiki, let me know. And I was looking for the files from regular meetings that I had recorded, but I'm not able to play them for some reason. So I'm not sure if something weird happened to those files. I can send them to you at least, and if they work for you, I don't know if you want to add them to the wiki.
Okay.
And in terms of my participation with the group, I'm not quite sure how that's going to go at my new job, but I'll definitely be keeping my eye on the list. I can share with you my personal email if you guys have any questions from the conference or anything that wasn't followed up on.
Okay. Are you going to be working with Koha at your new job?
No, but they're talking about migrating to Koha
Okay.
as a possible next ILS. So,
Awesome.
yeah, not quite sure.
Okay. Well, hopefully you'll be able to pop in occasionally and um
Yeah,
okay.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because we're just such a fun group to hang out with.
You know
You're gonna miss us, and you know it.
I know, I will. I just sent in the chat my personal email in case you guys want to
Okay.
get a hold of me there.
All right. Thank you. I'll add it to your contact in my Gmails. All righty. Well, I think the only other thing that I wanted to bring up, to be sure and bring up, was the nonprofit organization creation. After all the bills have been paid, which I think they have been now, we have $900 left in the pot. Yeah, so that should be enough to file
Party.
papers and to file papers and become a nonprofit with maybe a little bit left over for seed money for next year's conference. So I guess what I'm looking for is maybe a committee or something to take hold of that. I see Chris has joined us, Chris Rhodey.
Yep.
You had expressed some interest in that the year before last?
Yeah, I'm still interested.
Okay. Do you want to take point on that?
Sure.
Okay. Would there be anyone here who's interested in joining him in the wonderful world of learning how to become a nonprofit? I'm figuring I'll be part of the committee just as, because I'm handling the money. So I'll be there, but probably need maybe one or two more people to help him out. Volunteers?
I can find out what's involved. Maybe,
Okay.
that will help people decide because, they don't want to commit.
Sign up. Well, what you might want to do then is send out an email to the Kohana mailing list asking for people who are interested to step up and see if they want to be part of the committee.
Okay.
Otherwise, you and I can figure it out. Hopefully, I've never done anything like this before, so it'll be a learning experience.
I've been involved, but I'm not sure about the details anymore. It's been a while.
Okay, well, that's more than I've got, so awesome. Okay, well then, if Chris, if you want to send an email to the general mailing list and see if there's anybody else who wants to join us in this adventure, that would be awesome.
Great.
And I think that's it. That's what I wanted to to talk about. Is there anything else anybody else wanted to bring up?
Rebecca, where are you going for your new job?
I'm going to West Bank Libraries in Austin, Texas. It's a regional system.
But it's a public library, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, since I changed your email in my contacts, in for completeness, I needed to put where you were going to. I have that problem.
No, just kidding.
Understandable.
Somebody's got some feedback or something going on there. Chris, did you do the Windows 10 upgrade? I think I saw that you had.
On mine, yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's still got a few bumps in it, but it's pretty good. You know, I think it's built off of Windows 8, and it's not a bad install. They still have a few work out of it, but overall, it was a rather. It wasn't too difficult. The only thing I've battled right now is they keep trying to push a driver for my touchpad that doesn't work as good as the previous driver, so I have to keep ignoring it.
Don't you know Windows knows better than you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd upgraded my personal laptop a while back, but I haven't actually played with it much. So
I just got an error from my Outlook that said it couldn't find the license key or the activation, so it quit, and now I go back into it, and now it says it's activated, and I hope that's not a persistent problem here.
I haven't seen anything like that. That's kind of weird.
And I guess you do not. Windows Defender kind of takes over everything.
Yeah.
Like it kicked my Viper right off.
In 7, it was Microsoft Security Essentials, and then they went back to the Defender. Name. So yeah, it's all Defender on there.
Well, it's slow, and now I can't bring up notifications. I keep clicking on it, but nothing happens. Yeah, I think hopefully I can revert, because I think I'd rather go back to Windows 8.
You have a month.
Let's see here.
a month to revert or a month to...
A month to back out. If you decide you don't want to keep the Windows 10, you can go back to your old desktop.
Okay.
Your old OS.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
No, it's doing a whole lot of nothing. Come on.
Does anybody else have, while Joel's fighting with his Windows 10 machine?
Did you get any more feedback from the attendees?
I think the last time I emailed you was about the last time I saw anything come through. I think I had been emailing you the comments because I had forgotten to check a box. But if you go into that link, you should be able to see the comments, the open-ended question as well. But I think 10 or 11 is the most I saw come through. So generally good comments, but just not a whole lot of them, and that's fairly typical, I think.
Have more all-around feedback. We should have had some incentive.
Yeah. You don't leave this room until you build out your survey. It's not really incentive. That's, but that's where I went.
Let me look here real quick. Pulling up my.
I was surprised to see a number of them said one of the breakout sessions, the packages and versions upgrade or whatever, which was a complete disaster. Some of those rated that highly, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, you thought that was a disaster? Are you talking about the very first session?
It would have been the session on day 2. It was the updates and pack. I don't remember exactly what it was called.
Wasn't it like a
I
round
think it was
table?
one of the round tables.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, I was in that discussion. I didn't think it was too bad.
Well, I guess the people I was talking to, we just had no idea what we wanted or what was the topic really, or what people wanted to talk about. So that didn't seem to.
Someone said it was a disaster.
No, I said it was a disaster. Other people said it was ranked highly as their favorite sessions, and I just said, "Oh, that's surprising," because apparently somebody got more out of it than I did.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why these feedback things are helpful. There's a lot of stuff that people see differently than I do, I guess.
Yeah, personally, I thought the discussion was kind of good, even though we weren't exactly sure what we were going to talk about. The discussion, I think, was good, and I definitely learned some things just about the community and about the process.
Well, that's good then. I was just frustrated during it. That's just me.
I do have all of the stuff that I have received so far up. I had originally started to put everything up on Dropbox, and the stuff that I got from the very first session, the installing session, was 3 gig, and my Dropbox, because it was a brand new one, was only 2 gigs. So that was clearly not going to work for me. So that stuff is in Dropbox. Everything else is in that folder on G Drive, my G Drive. And they're linked both. I think there's a link to the folder itself for the recordings, Grace's recordings, and then also links to the individual files on the wiki. So if you have something that's not up there, or are looking for something that's not up there, let me know. Everything I've gotten so far, I think, is up there.
Awesome.
So
I was looking at the comments on the survey, and it was kind of weird on that very last comment that somebody said about the planning committee. Need planning committee to step it up and not place the onus of the work on one person.
Oh, I can comment on that because that was my comment. And now that you read it, it sounds kind of negative, and I'm sorry it came across that way. But during the event, I would have liked to have seen more participation among the entire planning committee when there were moments of silence, when we weren't really sure what to do. If we had more participation, show and tell, that kind of thing, I think it would have made my job a little bit easier.
And not having I guess I was on the participation or the planning committee, at least at the end. I thought everything went really smoothly. I thought I didn't notice a whole bunch of crazy moments of silence, but then I wasn't running the show either, so I'm sure you probably noticed stuff I might not have. But I thought, as from where I was sitting, I thought it looked like it was all very well put together, Rebecca. So.
Oh, thanks, Robin. Yeah, overall, I think it was a great program. I did kind of feel some negative vibes from some people, but it's hard to please everybody, and it just kind of is the way it is. And overall, I think it was a good program.
Everything I heard, and most of the survey responses were overwhelmingly negative. Like you said, you're never going to please everybody, but or overwhelmingly positive. I'm sorry.
That's right. What was that?
Yeah, it's positive, negative. But no, everything I heard was positive, and people came up to me during the conference to let me know how much they were enjoying it. So I'm not sure if how much I passed that on, but I got several comments from people who really thought it was valuable and well worth their time. So
Good.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. I did pick up on some of those lulls. It wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been. And, I tried to jump in there where I could. But yeah, it's a group that is starting to try to be more familiar with each other. This is only our second time that we've met, and I would say at least half, if not more, of that group wasn't there last year. So this is really, still out of the box for everybody here. And so, I expect some awkwardness in the beginning, but, overall, Rebecca, you did a fantastic job, and we all did a fantastic job. I think this was, head and shoulders above last year, and so I hope nobody walks away from this feeling like, oh, man, somebody didn't like this, or they were quiet and it wasn't good enough. I think it was extremely good, and it'll only get better.
Well, thanks, Christopher. And I do want to just thank you personally for kind of stepping in and taking lead on some of the Hackfest days. That was a huge weight off my shoulders. I can't tell you how appreciative I am of that. So thank you.
Well, no problem. I think out of anybody, Joel and I had more of the vision for those days than anybody. So, I think, it was up to us to, jump in there and really make that work. And yeah, I was glad we expanded it. It gave more options, and I felt like we had more bodies there and more people getting involved in whatever, actually do the hacking or the code stuff. But I think it made a huge difference, and I think it was a good model to go off of, and I think we should continue how we did that, because it was last year.
And see, I didn't go to either Hackfest last year or this year. But again, it seemed like from what I heard, it was very valuable. I know Heather came back just all kinds of ideas and new skills that she picked up. So,
Joel, what was your take on that on the last 2 days?
Friday went well, I think. Some parts of it were a little too fast for most of us, I think.
Yeah.
In the little room, anyway, where I was at. Saturday, I was fried by Saturday, so I couldn't concentrate on anything. So that was more. Go ahead.
The thing on Friday with it being fast, that's because we're dealing with somebody that, we had Kyle jumping in there, and he's, you're dealing with somebody that, just swims in the stuff, and he knows it back and forth. I more that we glean from him and, try to do this ourselves, the pace will get better, because we're relating more on the user end of things rather than the programmer side of things. I think, we just have to really work ourselves away from, having Kyle explain it, because Kyle just operates on a totally different level altogether. So.
Well, I just say that compared to the one he did last year, he went much slower, and the one he did last year, I liked better than this year. But once again, that's just me.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're getting there. Like I said, yeah, I enjoyed it, and Rebecca, those lulls, I totally get what you're saying about that, and I think that's why I also jumped up there with the microphone to help you out on that with feedback from people. We wanted to get people recording stuff on that, but I think it just helped the energy a little bit, running around there and encouraging people to talk. So.
And the one thing we need to remember too is this is a room full of extreme introverts. There were a lot of introverts in there, and so that it just takes longer for them to decide to talk. Then I'm one myself, but it takes longer for us to decide to talk sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
that's true.
Coming from all different walks, you don't know, how you're going to be perceived, so especially different libraries you got, and we had some people, it looked like we had some people that were just getting a feel for Koha too, so they're just getting their feet wet altogether, and yeah, they're completely out of their element. So.
Okay. Anything else we wanted to bring up today? Like I said, I'm going to be gone for the next couple of weeks, although not actually going anywhere. I'm doing the staycation thing for the most part. So I will not be at work, but I'll be checking my email, because otherwise, coming back after 2 weeks, I would probably pass out the first day. So I'll be keeping an eye on things. And I think that's when our scheduled meeting would have been, or was. It's the second Tuesday or second Thursday. I'm sorry. Is that when we usually schedule?
Yes.
Okay, so I will not be here for that. Do you guys want to have a meeting? I'll set up a room for you, but otherwise we can go until October.
Yeah, I say just postpone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything really to.
Okay. And then at that point, I think the next round of Koha upgrades is coming up soon. I know we're talking about maybe November, having another upgrade cycle. So maybe we'll have some talk, and we've got some developments that are hopefully within a month or so we'll be able to talk about, share with people. So.
Yeah.
All right. And then Chris and I will work on the nonprofit thing, get that started. And then it's going to be time to start putting out a call for next year's conference.
If you get stuck on the nonprofit thing and just don't get the people that you need, and you need somebody, if you're willing to hold my hand through it, I'll jump in there, but I know nothing about it. So
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I said, I'm figuring I'll be on the committee for writing checks and making sure the money is taken care of, but I don't know how much help I'm going to be with the actual process. So maybe we'll find somebody who has some experience on the list who can step up. But thank you, Christopher.
Yeah.
Oh, that John from Kyle, the library that Kyle came from.
Oh, John Bryce?
Yes, he has experience with it.
Okay, well maybe we can rodeo him into helping out.
There was a previous group, but I can't remember what they called it. He was trying to get that off the ground as a nonprofit back in like 2009, I think, or something like that.
Is that the guy that spoke at the Koha?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what the issues were.
Well, at the very least, he can maybe tell us what they were and help us to not
What
falling.
not to do.
That's valuable. That's valuable information right there. So, all right. Well, Chris, if you want to do the Koha-Na email, I'll email John Bryce individually
Okay.
and see if he's willing to help us out.
Yeah, even if he doesn't want to be involved, if he can just tell us what to be done and what not to do.
Exactly. That would be really valuable. So, okay.
Great.
Sounds like a plan.
And I'd just like to say once again, thank you, Rebecca. You did a great job on organizing everything, and it came off without a hitch, I think. So
Thank you. Thank you for all your help.
no problem. We appreciate you, and yeah, you did bear most of the burden.
And that's fine. I think maybe for the next round, it might be worth kind of figuring out what are the responsibilities of the host, and where does the planning committee fit in with that, and then if everybody knows their roles and everything, and then also maybe when you do the advertisement, some things to expect, like the number of people, that it's a 4-day event usually, that kind of thing, I think would be helpful. And actually there was a gentleman at the conference who said he was interested in maybe hosting for next year, Christopher Davis, the gentleman from Utah. And he wanted to know when the planning committee was having its next meeting. And since you announced it to the list, I'm sure he had the opportunity to see it, but I just wanted to put that on your radar.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be in Nichols next year.
We're going to work on it.
Because I just want to drive. That way when I get there, I have a car and I don't have to beg people for rides.
We are planning on putting in a bid, so we shall see. I don't know, Utah's a little far to drive even for us, so. But yeah, no, we'll put in a bid. Nichols is actually, we just announced it to our users group this morning that we will have a bid in for next year, and when the voting comes up, we'll be asking our users to vote for us. So we'll see. All right, but yeah, no, those are great ideas, Rebecca. I think this year, since we'd only done it once before, it was hard to come up with, we had no idea what year number 2 was going to look like. But those are, now that we've got a couple of years under our belt, those are excellent things to add to the bid information.
Sure.
So definitely, we shall definitely do that.
Great. Oh, and I did put a little blurb in for the Koha newsletter for September about the conference, so hopefully that makes it into the news.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I saw Bywater did quite a bit of publicity as well, lots of blogging and a couple of mentions after the conference about their information. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was talking earlier with Joel about pictures from the conference. I think we're going to try and set up a site on the Koha-Na wiki where people can post pictures. That is one of the file types that we can upload and display on the wiki reasonably easily. So I think if you guys have pictures from the event that you want, if you don't want to deal with putting them up on the wiki, you can send them to me. But otherwise, we're going to try and have a spot for pictures, because there were a lot of people who took a lot of cool pictures, and I think it would be nice to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Excellent. Anything else before I call it a day?
Not that I can think of. Good.
Okay. Well, Chris, send out the email to Koha-Na. I'll send out the email to Mr. Bryce. Everybody else, have a fabulous rest of August. That's what
your vacation.
Left. And yeah, and September, and we'll see you all in October.
Excellent.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
You guys.